It's 3:47 in the morning. You're awake. You didn't decide to be. And somewhere in the 4 seconds between opening your eyes and understanding where you are, your brain has already selected a thought for you. Not a random one. It went looking, and it came back with the worst available item. The conversation you handled badly, the money. The thing you said in 2019, the person who stopped replying. And lying there in the dark, one explanation feels obvious. Something is wrong with me. Normal people sleep through the night. Normal people don't lie awake at 3 a.m. doing forensic accounting on their own life. You've got that exactly backwards. Not the feeling. The order of events. You didn't wake up because of the thought. The thought showed up because you were awake. Start with the part nobody tells you. Healthy adults surface briefly between sleep cycles, roughly 5 times a night. Not people with insomnia, healthy sleepers. Your sleep isn't a block. It's a sequence, and between the segments, you come up close to the surface, over and over, every single night of your life. You don't remember almost any of it, and there's a measured reason why. Researchers looked at how long a nighttime awakening has to last before you can recall it the next morning, and the answer landed around 4 to 5 minutes. Shorter than that, and the episode never makes it into memory. It happened. You were awake. It's simply gone. So sit with what that means. You are not a person who wakes up once at 3 a.m. for a sinister reason. You're a person who wakes up several times a night like everyone else. And one of those times crossed the memory line. You didn't have an unusual night. You had an ordinary night with one episode long enough to file. And in case you think you're the strange one, in a survey of nearly 9,000 American adults, 35% reported waking up at night at least 3 nights a week. 23%, almost 1 in 4, wake up at least once every single night. This is not a rare malfunction. This is the group you're already in. Fine. But why this hour? Why does it feel like 3 a.m. has your name on it? Because 3 things stack in that window, and none of them are about your life. Your core body temperature bottoms out between roughly 2 and 4 in the morning. That's the coldest, most fragile point of the whole night. The point where the transitions between sleep stages are easiest to fall out of. Your cortisol, the wake-up hormone, hits its low around midnight and then starts climbing at about 2 in the morning. It's not reacting to your problems. It's on a schedule. It's beginning the slow ramp that will eventually get you out of bed. And you happen to be surfacing while it's already on the way up. And REM sleep, the dreaming, emotionally loaded stage, is stacked into the last third of the night. Early REM periods run 10-15 minutes. The late ones stretch to 45-60. So when you wake in that window, you're often surfacing out of a long, emotional immersion, with the residue still running, cold, chemically climbing, and emotionally wet. That's the room you wake up into. Nobody scheduled it around your worries. Here's the part that actually matters. The thoughts at 3 a.m. don't feel different because they are different. They feel different because the thing evaluating them is running at reduced capacity. Sleep researchers have a name for this state. They call it the mind after midnight. And it's not poetry. It's a formal hypothesis in the literature, and it describes a specific machine badly assembled. Positive mood follows a daily rhythm, and it bottoms out at night, between 1 and 4 in the morning. That's its lowest point in the entire 24-hour cycle. Negative mood peaks in that same trough. So the emotional baseline you're working from is measurably the worst one you'll have all day. At the same time, prefrontal control, the part of you that argues back, that puts things in proportion, that says this can wait until Tuesday, is disinhibited. Attention tilts toward threat. Reward processing distorts. The researchers describe the output plainly: ruminative, self-referential thinking, marked by fear, anxiety, and hopelessness. And there's a hard number underneath it. Take a well-rested brain, take sleep away, then show it emotionally negative images. The amygdala, the threat detector, responds about 60% more strongly. And it does that while its connection to the prefrontal cortex, the brake, is degraded. That's the whole thing in one image. Alarm louder, brake softer. So when the 3 a.m. version of a problem feels enormous and unsolvable and permanent, you are not seeing it clearly at last. You are seeing it through equipment that is, at that hour, provably worse at the job. The problem didn't get bigger. You got smaller. Two things quickly, because the internet will tell you both. The first, your liver isn't calling. There's a popular idea that 3 a.m. belongs to a particular organ, that waking then means something specific about your body or your suppressed anger. That comes from a traditional system of correspondences, not from circadian biology. The actual molecular clock, the one that won a Nobel Prize, doesn't work that way. And the emotional associations in that model don't have the evidence behind them. The second is more seductive. And I'm going to give you both halves because you deserve them. A historian named Roger E. Kirch collected more than 500 historical references to something he called first sleep and second sleep. The idea that pre-industrial Europeans slept in 2 blocks with a waking hour in between and used it, prayed, talked, thought. It's a beautiful theory, and it's everywhere online, usually phrased as, "See, waking at night is natural, we just forgot." Here's the half that doesn't get quoted. When researchers actually measured sleep in 3 pre-industrial societies still living that way, the Hadza in Tanzania, the San in Namibia, the Tsimane in Bolivia, they found consolidated sleep. 1 block. Around 6.5 hours, no segmented interval. So the honest version is, the historical record says one thing, the field measurements say another, and anyone selling you certainty here is selling. You don't need that story to be true. The ordinary explanation is enough. Now the part where you make it worse, entirely reasonably. You look at the clock. Of course you do. You want to know how much night is left. In one experiment, good sleepers and poor sleepers were told either to watch the clock while falling asleep or not to. The clock watchers reported more worry and took longer to fall asleep. And here's the detail. It hit the good sleepers too. Checking the time is not neutral information gathering. It's a machine for converting darkness into arithmetic. If I fall asleep right now, I still get 4 hours. And that arithmetic is worry wearing a math costume. Then you do the second thing. You try. You apply effort. You concentrate on falling asleep. Sleep is an involuntary process. It belongs to the same family as digestion. It runs when you stop supervising it. The research model here is called attention, intention, effort, and the finding is that deliberately trying to control sleep inhibits it. The effort creates performance anxiety. The anxiety creates arousal, and arousal is the opposite of the thing you're chasing, which makes lying awake one of the only situations in your life where trying harder guarantees losing. No wonder it feels like a personal failure. You applied the one strategy that works everywhere else, and it backfired. So you concluded the problem must be you. So let's put it back together. You wake several times a night, like everyone. One episode runs long enough to remember. It lands in the coldest, most chemically active, most emotionally loaded stretch of the night. Your threat detector is amplified, and your brake is disconnected. Your mood is at its measured daily floor, and into that machine you feed the largest unresolved thing in your life. Of course it goes badly. It was always going to go badly. That's not a character flaw. That's the predictable output of a system running in its worst configuration. The 3 a.m. voice is very confident. It sounds like clarity. It sounds like the truth you're too busy to face in daylight. But confidence isn't accuracy. And that voice is generated by a brain that is, right then, demonstrably worse at proportion, worse at solutions, worse at time. You are not receiving insight at 3 a.m. You're receiving noise at high volume and mistaking the volume for importance. None of this makes the night shorter. You'll still be awake, and it will still be dark, and the thought will still be there doing its work. But you can know what you're listening to. That thing that feels like your life falling apart at 3:47 in the morning is your life, viewed through your worst available equipment at the exact hour that equipment performs worst. In 8 hours, the facts will be identical and the weight will not. Wait for the equipment to come back before you believe the report. The thought didn't get truer at 3 a.m. You just got quieter, and it got louder.